Well, thanks. Welcome, everyone. My name is Adam Goldstein. I'm one of the co-founders of Hipmunk with Steve Huffman, the guy wearing the Hipmunk suit over there. So Hipmunk is the best way for searching for flights and hotels online. And I'll start out by showing you our flight search product. Here, you can see all of the flight options from San Francisco to Austin laid out on a single page so that you can easily compare when the flights depart and arrive, what airlines they're on, how long the stopovers are, and even whether they have stops in the first place. And the other thing that you'll notice about this is that we're not sorting results by price. We're sorting by what we call agony, which incorporates price, but also incorporates things like how long you're going to be in the air and how long you're going to be in the ground. And so these first two results are the least agonizing results because they're non-stops, but they're not the cheapest. They're a few dollars more than the cheapest. And if you have time constraints, you can actually narrow down the results on this screen to only show the ones that fit within your constraints. And so in this single screen, you can see all of the options that make sense, visualize when they take off and land, and make your choice. Next, let me show you what we've built on hotels. This is a set of results for Austin. A few things to note here. First, we're not sorting these results by price or by how much we're getting paid by the hotels like some of our competitors are. We're sorting by what we call ecstasy. Agony for flights, ecstasy for hotels. So the idea here is that we're incorporating user reviews, amenities, and price into one objective metric. And you'll also note that we're not just showing hotel results here. We're also incorporating Airbnb vacation rentals. We're the only site on the internet that compares those side by side. And so you can tell whether there's a good deal somewhere that you want to be in Austin, even if it's not a hotel. But my favorite feature here is these heat maps. You can color the city by where the things that you're interested are, whether that's food, nightlife, or even vice, like strip clubs and brothels and casinos, so that you can see where in the city is the best place for you to stay. We've also got a great iPhone app that we released just a few weeks ago. It's an incredibly popular free travel app, and it's the best way to actually search for flights on your phone. And you can guess we'll probably be doing something like hotels on the phone soon. So let me tell you a little bit about what users think. Put simply, users absolutely love what we've been building. They love it so much that they make their own fan art. They even make their own stuffed hipmunks and send us pictures. And what I would ask you is, when was the last time that someone made a stuffed hipmunk? A stuffed kayak, because they loved kayaks so much? Well, they make stuffed hipmunks all the time. We've also gotten great coverage in the press. These are all outlets that have written positive reviews, incredibly positive reviews about us, and there have been dozens more. So let me tell you about our team. That guy on the right is Steve Huffman. He was one of the founders of Reddit, and he's also one of the founders of Hipmunk. I started Hipmunk with Steve only 9 months ago, and previously I had written a technical book for O'Reilly when I was only 16 years old. Those other two guys, who were also founders of Reddit, have also joined Hipmunk. And we actually have a fourth guy from Reddit who's joined recently, which means, and I'm happy to announce for the first time here, there are now more people from Reddit at Hipmunk than there are at Reddit. All right, so what about the money? Well, Hipmunk every month sells millions of dollars in successful flight and hotel bookings. And we've done it without really spending anything on advertising at all. Hundreds of thousands of users come to Hipmunk because they enjoy the experience and they've heard about it from their friends or from the press. And we also have a top-notch crew of investors. We've got Paul Graham from Y Combinator, our first money in, Paul Buchheit, the creator of Gmail, Ron Conway, one of the earliest investors in Twitter, Facebook, and Google, Chris Howard from Ignition Partners, who helped us raise our Series A round, Rich Barton, one of the first people at Expedia and their first CEO. We've actually got 2 ex-CEOs of Expedia who are investors in Hipmunk. And of course, Ashton Kutcher from Dude, Where's My Car? All right, so how does this all put together? Let's just look at this for a second. Travel is the single largest industry in the entire world. It's responsible for 7% of global GDP. We have an incredibly talented team and a product that has already seen incredible adoption. We've already built 2 of the core components, flights and hotels, in just 6 months. Thanks very much.
I got the idea there might be more, but that was good. We ended right at 5 minutes. So, Mark.
Well, you've obviously done a great job on marketing and branding. I had heard of Hipmunk coming into this. I had not used the product. But as someone who travels a lot, I played with it before you went on, and I think the UI is very clever. How do you ultimately intend to monetize over the long run? Is it ultimately going to be lead gen? And if I'm not mistaken, my understanding is a lot of the booking sites have started to pull out of Kayak and similar type origination type products. So I'd love to hear you talk about those two concepts.
Sure. So we intend to monetize, and we already do monetize through lead generation. To airlines, hotels, travel agencies, we get commissions when we refer people to those sites. There haven't been really any sites that have pulled out of Kayak recently. Lots have pulled out of the online travel agencies, Expedia, Orbitz, and those. And the reason is because the airlines in particular want customers to come to their own website. So they're happy to list on us and to list on Kayak because we give them the opportunity to get that customer directly.
Now, you guys were all at Reddit together, and...
Except me.
Oh. I was wondering what, I mean, if they came from that, and you said there aren't any people there anymore. So it's the end of Reddit. You've got a bunch of people who've come from a company that didn't work. So,
no, Reddit's doing fantastic.
Okay.
Reddit has 1 billion page views a month now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So here are my questions. How do you get how do you make your money? How do you get your referrals?
Sorry.
I mean, you get money from referrals,
yeah.
right? And that's it, or does
yeah, that's our business model. I mean, it's similar to the Kayak model. I mean, Kayak's going to probably IPO in a few weeks for nearly $1 billion.
And you don't think you're late to the game here?
No, not at all. I mean, here's why. The existing sites have become corrupted by their dependence on advertising. It's actually not in Kayak's blood to display all the results on one page because they make money by making you click through multiple pages and showing you multiple sets of ads. So they've become so dependent on that. That's why they've got the pop-ups and the pop-unders and the incessant advertising. They've just completely lost focus on the user experience.
I love Hipmunk. I fly 100,000 miles a year, and I've been using it for a while now. One thing I've noticed is that, unlike other people, I'm actually willing to pay $100 more for United Airlines because I have so many frequent flyers, and they treat me better because I have that kind of mileage background. Is there a way to communicate that to Hipmunk? Because I find I reorder the agony based on whether United is on that list or not.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, right now you can specify a preferred airline, and if you do, we'll hide the flights from other airlines that are worse than the flights on your preferred airline. But we also have more tools we're building to allow you to, be even more selective there, only show non-stops on your preferred airline and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that weighting, because your agony and my agony are probably very different,
sure.
Right? And so need to have that. But I'm trying to understand why, I mean, the site's beautiful. I like the way you present results, but why are you more than just another pretty face on travel?
Well, for several reasons. First, we've got some data on the back end that none of our competitors do. For example, in the Northeast Corridor, we show Amtrak trains. No one else does that. We also have deals that we're signing all the time with airlines and alternate forms of transportation. And I think most importantly, we're coming from a different motivation than the other sites are. We care about user experience first and foremost. The other sites think of themselves as sort of media companies. They're trying to get you to come to their page so that they can show you ads. That's their reason for existence. And so by coming at it from the user perspective, we think we can get much more loyal users. And we think that this is the history of travel innovation. It was Expedia, 5 years later Orbitz, 5 years later Kayak, 5 years later Hipmunk.
So who comes in the next 5 years? Who should we be looking to eat your lunch in 5 years?
I think you'd probably want to look at people who are freshmen in college right now.
Do you have any plans after you got hotels and airlines? Do you have any plans beyond that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's the natural other verticals in travel, the car rentals and packages and local deals and all that stuff. And there's even internationalization. Right now, we only sell tickets in US dollars, and we only list in English. So that cuts off a huge portion of the world, but the underlying technology can support all of that.
Yeah. Where I told the internet first that I'm traveling is on Plancast. That's where I say I'm going to South by or I'm going to Le Web in Paris. Are you doing any integrations with other services like that where I'm putting my travel plans into it, or like TripIt?
Yeah, so we've got a few sort of things we've been testing out with widgets and links where someone could just click over and see what the prices would be like to go somewhere. It's something that we'd like to increase 'cause it's a great way to bring in more users.
Do we have anything? Mark?
I don't have more questions.
I'm
no.
interested.
Yeah, cool.
That's not a question, but that's what you want to hear. Why
Yes.
are you interested?
Good end user opportunity. There are 3 billion people on the connected by cell phone or the internet, and travel's a big opportunity, and they've done it in a clever way that seems kind of fun. And I think if you go after other things in that same way, you could actually end up with a really big business. I think the market size here is probably bigger than the other two.
Yeah. Are you able to do anything with pricing? Because we all know that pricing for a trip changes every day. If you keep coming back over and over and over to the airline sites, you see that price change.
Yeah.
Is there any way to tell me the perfect day to buy my ticket, for that trip to Paris?
We could build it. We've got a lot of good search data and all that stuff. The problem with trying to make those sorts of predictions is that if you're wrong once, if you say, wait, but instead the price goes up, then you lose a customer for life because they feel like you just cost them $300 or something like that. So there are sites that do that, but my understanding is it actually hasn't turned out to be a big end user attraction. Bing, Microsoft Bing would be the big example there. Yeah. So it's something that we could do if we wanted. We're just not doing it right now.
Ooh, I do have one concern, and that is does it commoditize? Travel has become more commodity and more of a perfect market.
Yep.
And so, whereas Travelocity had a big opportunity and Kayak had a smaller one, you may have a smaller one than that.
He's out now.
I disagree absolutely. I mean, the computer hardware market was commoditized. Everyone is using Intel chips. Once the hardware is a commodity, you compete on user experience. That's how Apple wins in the desktop hardware space. So if we have the same prices as Kayak and Travelocity, long term, we win on user experience. That's what gets us customers.
Yeah. Are you able to display which flights have Wi-Fi? I mean, we're all geeks here, and we know that's one way to get me off of United and over that price sensitivity because of the frequent flyer miles. If there's a Wi-Fi flight going, that removes a lot of agony. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
We can't not have Sxsw twittering for 3 hours at a time.
We're working on it, yes.
What's the top line revenue of Kayak?
Top line, 120 million last year.
I've never been in a group that ran out of questions. You all seem very
I got
impressed.
More questions.
You have more?
I thought we were out of time.
No, we got 2
minutes.
minutes.
Why are you doing this? Why do you care?
But in college, I was kind of a flight nerd. I'd memorize the 3-letter city codes for 300 airports or something. So my friends would come to me whenever they wanted help planning a trip, and I would go to Kayak or Expedia or one of those sites and spend all afternoon convincing myself that I'd found the right flight. And I thought, well, this is dumb. I should just be able to see the right flight, pick it out, and then be sure that I found it.
Are you able to, on the hotel thing, because that's really an interesting idea, are you able to tell that I'm traveling for business versus traveling for vacation? Because the kinds of hotels are different, or the kinds of places you would stay are very different for both. One, you're traveling with a family maybe, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can use heuristics like, are you traveling alone? Or are you staying over a Saturday night, like the airlines do to price discriminate? So we can use data like that and even historical data about where you're going, what kinds of hotels you stay at.
But it seems like that you actually need to give me some dials and just ask me, because you can get to the answer a lot more quickly if you just ask me what I want. And I think that's not clearly differentiated in your UI right now, from a user experience perspective.
So in hotels we've simplified it to 3 choices. Are you low end, mid range, or high end in terms of price sensitivity? And we think that a lot of people can put themselves mentally in one of those categories. But we've also considered, a specific price slider or, some other way to specify what your preferences are.
Yeah. How many people are you losing who come and use Hipmunk, but then leave the site and go to their favorite airline site to buy the ticket?
Well, so we don't know exactly how many of the people who leave our site are then going to an airline site or just, waiting a week to buy their ticket or something like that. What we do know is that our look-to-book ratio, which is how many people search per booking, is among the absolute best in the industry among these meta search sites. And we're adding more and more direct deals with airlines so that you don't have to leave Hipmunk to go to that airline's website and book your ticket.
And with that, we are out of functional time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.